So my name's Ian Redgewell. Everyone calls me Reggie. I am head of management for London in the UK, but I've actually been seconded elsewhere. So I'm working on some global projects now. So next generation playout, what we're doing with asset management, what we're doing with monitoring. So a lot of the media management stuff, VOD as well. So editing, compliance. So all of this kind of business, but how we do it on a global level. So I've currently been sort of separated aside to kind of look at this globally, to see how we can do, to see what the technology is doing, and come up with some new product lines. That's all about me. In the first instance, the people. So I certainly like the team that I deal with directly in London. Over the past, I don't know, two years, certainly 12 months, I've spent a lot more time dealing with the teams in Asia and LA, and I really like everybody. So I really get on well with all the people I deal with. So the kind of the Globecast team, and the more of a global team as it's growing, is great to work with. And the other point, I guess, for me personally at Globecast is I have a certain amount of freedom. So, I'm playing with new technology, cloud and things like this, trying to push that forward. And I have a certain amount of freedom to be able to try and do this and push this and demonstrate this and show it to customers. And I think that's helping us as a company, and it's also helping me personally because myself and my team, we are learning an awful lot as we go along. I only wrote one word down in my notes, and that was the word cloud at the moment. So is it a challenge? I don't see it as a challenge myself personally, but bringing our customers along for the ride, making sure that everybody understands what cloud means is a challenge. So it's kind of that education, and I think at the moment not everyone gets it. It's in certain places it's not as cheap as you might think it might be. It's not as readily available as well. So it's just there's a lot more to learn on this, and there's a lot more to teach others around this. So the biggest challenge I have in my role right now is just that one word. It's cloud. In terms of business and what we've achieved. So I remember when we were working with a particular customer, it was working with them to understand what they wanted, demonstrating what we wanted to do for them around things like the portal and having access to everything and consolidating all of their operations in one place. And it was going through that process with them to win that business. And I really enjoyed that. And they came with us, and they're now one of our customers. There are many, but the one that stood out for me was this kind of ever-beating drum of technology, which is kind of driving the consumer. And it's something that I think we're all fall a victim to, which is that in terms of my consumption of media, I watch what I want, when I want to watch it. It's on demand. I very rarely watch linear in any form. You get those big seasons on those big providers, and I just watch them as is convenient to me once the kids are asleep or whatever it is. It's that on-demand stuff, and that's really obviously driving what our customers are needing to fulfill. They're needing to fulfill not just the linear stuff, but all of the kind of on-demand platforms and affiliates and all this sort of stuff. So that demand is growing, and OTT. So it's not delivery of a channel via satellite to a cable band. It's I want to watch it on my phone while I'm on the go, whether that's the live sports or whether that's the show that aired last week because I missed it. It's that kind of on-demand thing. I think that's a really big challenge for our customers and for us. A second challenge to think about is it's not just pixel count. So we've gone from SD to HD. HD is wonderful. There's a lot of people talking about 4K. You can, I'm pretty sure, if you go to the shops now, buy 8K. Good luck getting content for it, but you can buy it. But it's not just the pixel count now. People are starting to be aware that there is a depth as well as a width and a height. So you've got HDR. You have the depth of color and everything. And you don't just see this on a television that you can buy in the shops. You'll see it on your phone in terms of how it's reproducing colour. And actually that's starting to become more relevant in the market, and consumers are being aware of this. So yeah, so it's not just content when I want it, where I want it, it's the quality of content, and it's, you know, the pushing up of that definition. And I can buy devices now that are capable of magnificent things. The content's not quite there yet, but it's coming, but that's pushing the demand into the broadcast industry, not only to produce the content, but to be able to distribute it somehow. Security for me is a do or die. You know, it has to be the first thing and the last thing you think about right now. If we fail in any way with security, you know, it will jeopardise the financial stability of our business. It will risk the confidentiality of our own employees. I mean, certainly when we say security, I don't talk about a padlock on the door. I mean cyber specifically, and it's not, you know, you're not talking about the students in a back room. You've got state-sponsored stuff as well. So, and we've seen it in the press. You know, we've seen some pretty big ones and some pretty nasty ones. Broadcasters and TV, they're quite a target, because, you know, you have pictures and you have sound hitting many millions of people. And I'd imagine that there are certain not so nice people out there that would love to get into that and disrupt it somehow, and it's kind of high risk. So for us, it's paramount. You know, we have to be completely secure, and our customers have to have that confidence. Otherwise, we will fail. You know, as a broadcaster, you have all of these problems facing you in terms of the affiliate deals that you've got, and the way consumers are kind of, you know, getting hold of their content. And there are so many challenges, and you can't do them all yourself. So from my side, whatever it is you want to do with your content, and however it needs to be processed, wherever it needs to go, anywhere in the world, for us, I think Globecast is just that one-stop shop that can do everything. I think there are a lot of competitors on the market that can do a fair amount of things, but probably don't tick all the boxes. So I'd like to think for us that makes us quite unique, in that we can pretty much offer any service that a broadcaster could think of, all in one shop. Esports, and how that's, you know, suddenly on radar for a lot of people. Kind of VR piece, certainly with games you see a lot of this, but augmented reality. So, you know, I see people wanting to immerse themselves, not just in a flat screen, but actually to, you know, to look around and kind of feel and hear the content. I see that growing. I definitely see that as one of the next big things. I'm curious around, there are certain technologies that aren't broadcast centric that I think might play a part in the broadcast industry. Things like AI, obviously. Things like, you know, you see a lot of digital currency in the press, like blockchain. You know, it's kind of decentralized transactions. There are technologies like this that I think we might be able to leverage. You might not think about, but I think we could. What's the next big thing? Yellowstone. Well, that's a super volcano, so that will probably end the world before we all get a chance to fix it. It might be one of the next big things to happen. So one of the projects we're looking at is the next generation of playout, and we're certainly very much focused on cloud, be it public or private or hybrid, and understanding what that means for playout. So historically today, if we were to sell a playout channel or number of channels, we need you know, a good few months of lead time to get the equipment in, to plug the cables in. You know, it's this traditional baseband and servers. So the time to market's very slow, and at the same time, there's a big investment. So, you know, we may be spending €500,000 to drop physical hardware, and then we have to amortize that, which means that as a customer, you need to sign a contract for 3 years, because, you know, we have to amortize the equipment. And so we can't do short term, we can't do quick time to market. So we're trying to address those things and looking at cloud to do them. So we've put together a working demo. So working with one of the public clouds, we're trying to be agnostic, but working with Amazon, we have a little bit of a proof of concept whereby we can spin up you know, upwards of a 12-channel playout system running in Ireland, in Singapore, and in Oregon in the space of about 10 minutes. from nothing. And then you can have your 12 channels, 4 channels all around different places of the world running. We can break into them in live, and all the content is in the cloud, being read from the cloud, and then we can shut it all down the next day and kind of pay you $100 and you're done. That's very different, and sort of so trying to turn that into a product, trying to make it secure, working with the commercials. So it's all OpEx, it's all pay as you go now. There's very little ground investment that you have to do to make this a reality. So that's on our fingertips now, and we can prove it, and we know it works. We just in the process of wrapping it up and putting a bow on it, so our customers can use that facility. But that's probably one of the sort of the ways we're using that technology, the cloud, and I think that's quite exciting for us.